It's time for episode 2 of the BetRivers Poker Table Talk presented by PokerNews. I'm Chad Holloway, joined by Keith Becker. Keith, it's already episode 2, already February of 2026. Where does the time go?
It goes fast, Chad, especially playing and streaming as I have been constantly. I've been putting in the reps for sure on BetRivers. And time is flying. I can't believe it's almost March already. We're heading into February already.
Yeah, it's we got a lot to talk about this episode. We're going to talk about Phil Hellmuth, all sorts of things. I was with him for a bit here in Wisconsin. He's been a busy boy filming new episodes of Hellmuth's Home Game. He was at the Super Bowl. We'll get into that. We're going to talk about the new Splash the Pot feature on BetRivers, which I know you have been intimately experienced, if you will, because we have a good clip. We're going to do an interview with the head of poker at BetRivers, Jason Senti, who you might remember as a WSOP final tableist when Michael Mizrachi final tabled the first go-around. And then we will wrap up with a preview of the BetRivers Spring Championship Series, which is going to run February 22nd through March 8th. I'm assuming, Keith, you're going to be grinding the hell out of that.
I will be. I think I'll be taking a little trip in the midst of that, but I will be grinding away at the BetRivers Spring Championship, of course. As I've been grinding away, as you mentioned, I was clip farming like a mother. I was clip farming so hard trying to get a Splash the Pot, and I managed to get a big one, which you'll see in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm excited to show that. I'm also excited off screen right over here. You can't see it. I got a box. I recently returned from a work trip and I had a box. I was like, what is this? I didn't order anything. And I was like, it's what BetRivers sent me because they sent me some gear. So I haven't even honestly looked through it. It's this box right here. And I figured, you know what? Let's see what goodies we have in here, Keith. You probably already have some of this stuff, but I don't have a BetRivers hat, and now I have two.
I only have black. I don't have the blue or yellow, but I'm not much of a hat guy, to be quite honest.
Well, I've also
so many poker hats that just hang on hooks.
Well, that's true with me too. Got a BetRivers t-shirt.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with that. I'll probably slap one of these on in a minute. A BetRivers patches.
Yeah, some of those. Those are great.
That look good. Yeah, I like those a lot. We got this I actually will wear because it's still really cold here in Wisconsin. A BetRivers beanie.
Okay.
I like that one right there. I'm assuming this is like a water bottle. Yep. It's going to be a water bottle. Look at this. Gloves. No, I've never had a pair of poker
I don't have
gloves.
those either. I won some socks by winning a tournament when they had their Sock the Halls promotion, but I don't have gloves.
That's pretty. I got a button up. Oh, I'll have to wear this in the next episode. More t-shirts. It looks like there's a big hoodie in here. And they did not... There's like 4 different things. All right. Anyways, I'm very excited about this. I haven't had any BetRivers merch, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I will say their clothing, whatever provider they use, those t-shirts are super soft. I like them a lot.
Yeah. Well, let's talk Phil Hellmuth. I don't know if you've seen on my social media. He was in Wisconsin. I had gotten a message that he was going to be here.
I did see this. I was jealous. It looks fairly fun.
Yeah, I kind of drop what I was doing because they invited me to a home game. I'm friends with obviously Hellmuth, but a lot of the players that he grew up with, and Madison, Wisconsin poker community, if you will. And his son, Philip Hellmuth III, was there, and I'm like, I can't miss this, right? So
yeah, when you get the text to play in Phil Hellmuth's home game, I think you just drop everything, right?
And it was great because I was able to take a bunch of stuff there, a bunch of items. He signed them so we can do some giveaways in future episodes for signed Phil Hellmuth memorabilia. I did take one piece of memorabilia for myself that was, I think it was 2012. I found a registration slip on the ground at the World Series of Poker. They were paper.
I remember seeing this post. Yeah.
It was his Raz, $1,500 Raz. It was on day one. Long story short, he went on to win that tournament for his 12th bracelet at the time. And I have that, and I was like, I got to have him sign that someday, and he did sign that for me, so that was really cool.
Yeah, Phil is super accessible. I had a friend who's like, we were going to a birthday party for a home game for him, and I had the chance to produce some streams for Phil, and I just asked him off the cuff to do a little video, like a cameo style video for my friend's birthday, and he's an expert showman. He's done this so much. He just turns it on, does this like amazing little like heartfelt birthday wishes video, and then just moves on. It was great.
Yeah, it was fun because I ended up giving him and his son a ride back to Madison because the game took place in a town about 30 minutes away. They needed a ride back so they could make a dinner appointment. So I said, all right, get in my truck. And it was fun because we were driving. It was like by this random bar out in the country. And Phil was like, telling me stories about when he used to play at that bar and how good
That's
the game
so
was
funny.
back then. Yeah.
It's like Phil is such a high roller now. I struggle to imagine him playing in like a dive bar for, a $40 entry or something. It's just hard to frame it in my mind.
Yeah, it was definitely a moment to get to know Phil the man, right? And instead of Phil the legend or Phil the famed poker player, if you will. It was a very intimate and awesome experience for me. So, speaking of all fun experiences with Phil Hellmuth, I mean, he's been so busy. He was up in Reno to film, I think, season 2 of Hellmuth's Home Game. I don't know if you saw this. He was doing all kinds of sorts of behind the scenes videos. It was set up on a stage with like a prop airplane in the background. You had some big names there.
That's awesome.
Jennifer Tilly was there.
Yep.
Do you watch? Oh, it looks like Texas Mike played. I'm looking at the thing right now. Jungle Man was back. I don't know. I did recaps for Hellmuth's Home Game. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm excited that this is back. It's
I
sponsored by
watch it
BetRivers.
occasionally. I usually see clips. The most recent clip I saw was not related to poker. I think it was actually them discussing who has the biggest DoorDash tab, and Phil's DoorDash tab was through the roof. I couldn't believe it.
It's funny you mentioned that because I do have that clip prepared because I wanted to talk about it.
That's so funny.
Check it out.
Co-founder of DoorDash, Stanley Tang, no stranger to the high-stakes poker scene.
Over 1,000 times, over 2,000 times, over 3,000 times. They have the answer, by the way. They looked it up. Charlie did it how many times?
1477? 16.
16.
Charlie's only been ordering for 3 years. 1677. I've only ordered 1659.
Because
Bill's number is 4529.
4,529 times it's been ordered at my house, and my wife now has a separate DoorDash account. So I suspect over 5,000
What's the most obscure item that you've ordered from DoorDash?
And I've had toilet paper delivered once or twice, or toothpaste, or like...
All right, so there you have it. 4,529 times that Hellmuth is ordered DoorDash. That's like multiple times a day. I don't even know.
Yeah, actually crazy. And he said, it's probably even more than that now because he like split off and his wife has a separate account. So now they've been ordering separately for a little bit. So the actual number is even higher. I'm not a DoorDash guy a ton. So that is astronomical to me. I can't believe it.
Same here. So Hellmuth tweeted, once a day for 12 years straight still falls short. So if he was he's ordering it nonstop.
Multiple times a day. Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind ordering it, but by the time you add in fees and I always tip, right? I used to be a pizza delivery driver. You got to tip them well. It's you're adding on quite a bit to it, and I guess if you want to pay for that convenience, you can. But I'm a frugal guy. I'm just let me just do a carry out.
Yeah, I mean, Phil's got the money to do it, and I'm sure I would imagine being as gregarious and as nice as Phil has been in person, I like to imagine he's a great tipper as well. I don't know that for a fact.
Well, Hellmuth was also busy in Las Vegas. I seen a tweet that he put out there with a guy. He said, "Who is this?" And it took me a minute, but I'm like, he does look familiar. It ended up being Daniel Coleman, who, if you remember, 10 years ago was like the crusher of all poker. He was winning everything and then just sort of disappeared. And I don't really know what he's been up to. He took the money and ran, which I think is great.
Yeah. No, it's always interesting to see somebody sort of just decide that a little bit of success is enough, and then sort of fade into the background, occasionally appear for other things and stuff like that. It's endearing. It's almost like seeing somebody know when to walk away at the blackjack table, right? They're like, I did well. I don't need any more.
Yeah. It was also in Las Vegas where Hellmuth was a part of a charity event that was, I think Jason Kuhn's wife helped put this together. It was for Make-A-Wish Foundation, and there were some heavy hitters in the poker world there. Obviously, Jason Kuhn was in attendance. His wife was there. Phil Gelfond, of course, another BetRivers ambassador, made an appearance. And I just thought it was pretty cool that there was this star-studded affair, if you will, for this Make-A-Wish Foundation. But it was also very, I don't know what the right word is. It wasn't, PokerNews wasn't there. The poker media wasn't there. It was just
They weren't doing it for
intimate.
clicks. They weren't doing it necessarily for the prestige or the credit of doing something good. They were actually just trying to do something good on the lowdown a little bit. I like that as well.
Yeah, well said. Andrew Roble was there. Jeremy Osmus. Another thing that happened with Hellmuth, and he was telling me all about this when I was visiting with him in Wisconsin. He was very proud of it. He bought a new condo in Las Vegas. He's going to establish residency there. $2.8 million purchase of the late Elaine Wynn's longtime Las Vegas 2-story penthouse condo in Park Towers. Ultra luxury. It is 4 bedrooms, I want to say. Let me see. Yeah, 4 bedrooms, 5 baths, 4,900 square feet. Hellmuth back in Vegas, Keith. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, ever since buying a house myself here in Pennsylvania, Chad, I am kind of a Zillow head. I will go and like snoop on things. I couldn't find pictures. My brother's a real estate agent. Maybe I should ask him. But I found the like floor plan of Phil's condo, and safe to say it is very nice.
Yeah. He is going to give Poker News a tour of it at some point. He said he would, so I'm sure we could have that in a future episode of this podcast. Get a little sneak peek behind, the Hellmuth penthouse in Las Vegas, if you will. So, and then Hellmuth went from Vegas to California, where he did another charity event. This one was in conjunction with, I believe, the Golden Knights, or not the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights is in Vegas. The Golden State Warriors is what I'm thinking about. He has been with the Warriors charity poker tournament, a feature there for years. Draymond Green is there. Steph Curry, these guys have all played before. Stanley Tang was with him. They had, I think before he went, I've seen a picture of him, went to a Warriors game. He was on the floor with like we'll say the cast, if you will, of Hustler Casino Live. Ryan Feldman was there. Miami Mike, Ludacris, a lot of these guys.
Like a sitcom intro introducing all the people at Hustler Casino Live with these cheesy smiles.
Which reminds me, Philip Hellmuth III played on Max Payne Monday on Hustler Casino Live. He was wearing a BetRivers hat in the graphic. That's how I remember that. So that was kind of cool too.
Nice.
And let's see, it was whilst he was in California, he also went to the Super Bowl. Which, did you watch, Keith? Did you enjoy it?
I did, yes. I did watch, yep.
I was telling our producer, Adam, off the air, I was in a local pool here where it paid, if your numbers lined up, it paid $100 a minute as long as that was the score, as long as your numbers were there. And I had 0 for the AFC and 2 for the NFC, and it was 0 to 12 for 10 minutes of the game.
Nice,
so I did pretty good.
I'm not much of a sports bettor, but I did place a bet because BetRivers had a promo. It's past now, so unfortunately we're a little late revealing this, but they promoted this thing where you could place a sports bet and get into a nice free roll on the poker client. So I did bet. I placed a $10 bet on the Seahawks, and I won $9.10.
Easy money. Ticket. Yeah. Hellmuth did a video for BetRivers. I'll actually show it here, where it was about the coin toss. The coin toss. Talk about a dyslexic moment. Check it out.
Hello, guys. Why do I have a coin in my hand? Why do I have Under Armour gear on? I just bought 100,000 shares. But look, we're here to flip a coin. All right? For the coin toss, for the which you can bet, I think you have to lay $1.03 each way. So let's just see, what is the coin toss going to be? Heads, ladies and gentlemen. My well-researched bet is to bet heads for the coin toss. Good luck to all of us.
So there you have it. Hellmuth predicted it would come heads, and it actually did come heads in the coin toss in the Super Bowl. So Hellmuth,
he still got it. He still wins his flips.
He's still winning his flips. That's right. No, it was a fun game. Hellmuth was there sharing a lot of behind-the-scenes footage, if you will, right? And not only of the game and the halftime show, but he was there with some heavy hitters. Jed York, the owner of the San Francisco 49ers. He was there with Kevin Plank, the Under Armour founder, which, so Hellmuth, of course, is wearing Under Armour now. And he's a big supporter. He doesn't give stock advice, but he has said that he's bought a lot of Under Armour stock. And I did something, Keith. This is a true story.
Oh, man.
I said, you know what? I'm tired of missing out. Sometimes Hellmuth usually is right.
How many shares did you buy, Chad?
I bought $1,000 worth at like $6.15 a share. And I checked earlier today, and it was up to like $7.40. So
Okay, all right.
it's just a small compared to Hellmuth, but I'm like, you know what? Let me take this ride with Phil. It should be
Yeah, there you go.
be fun for a little bit. So let's see. I'm looking at a picture of Phil Hellmuth with actor John Hamm during the NFL Players Party, which I think was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was with
One of my favorites for sure. I love John Hamm.
He was with the Raiders owner. Was it Mark Davis? Right. I thought was kind of cool. I mean, you know how so this is a true story too. That home game we talked about at the top of the episode where Hellmuth came with his old Wisconsin buddies. Before Hellmuth showed up, they were going to bet who would be the first person Hellmuth name dropped because you know he likes to.
That's a great prop. Yeah, because you could lay odds and everything. Yeah.
That one was fun, and it ended up being I want to say it was Stanley Tang was the first person he mentioned.
Okay, yeah.
But there was a big video, a name drop on his Twitter post Super Bowl. Check it out.
Folks, I'm at the Super Bowl, and I found somebody who's really good at Texas Hold'em.
Not as good as him, though. Not as good.
Wait, he's much taller than me. I'm tall. But look, this Giannis guy's very tall. So I told Giannis when he's in the Bay Area, he'll come and play poker at our home game. That we have billionaires and a lot of athletes playing. Giannis, you're going to fit right in.
I'm there. I just need the buy-in to be 2,000, 1,000?
5,000.
5,000? Okay, 5,000.
All right, guys, from the Super Bowl.
All right, so there you have it. Hellmuth with Giannis, who is a hero in Wisconsin, right? He's played for the Bucks, won a championship with them, but sounds like his time with the Bucks is done, and Hellmuth wants to see him go over there with the Warriors.
You know, Hellmuth he's predicting stock movements. He's predicting coin tosses. Maybe he's predicting NBA trades now. Who knows?
Yeah, is there anything he can't do? Hellmuth has said that he will join us here on the podcast in a future episode. I don't know when that will happen. We'll have to wait and see, but he was very excited about it, and we'll be very excited to chat with him. And Keith, I'll make sure that it's both of us, maybe in person if he's out there in Pennsylvania. Maybe I'll come out. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but we got to have Hellmuth on.
Yeah, absolutely. We should figure that out.
Well, let's talk about the Between Two Phils, right? We mentioned Phil Hellmuth, obviously, and Phil Galfond. They are two BetRivers ambassadors, and they do this fun little segment that you can see on BetRivers social media, and I thought we would share the clip here in the podcast, called Between Two Phils, in which they share their thoughts on different topics. So Between Two Phils, this time they chatted about what it's like to play on BetRivers and the things that they like. Check it out.
I couldn't believe this. I didn't know this. When I'm playing in 3 games at once and it's my turn to act, it automatically takes me there on the phone. So the app fits over your entire phone, so it's easy to play poker. And then when it's your turn to act, it comes to you. Or you can just swipe left or swipe right. And I think that's really, really cool.
BetRivers Poker has a lot of cool and unique features, but honestly, the thing that I like the most is just the feel of the gameplay. I spent a lot of time with the team designing the game, not just the way that it looks, but the way that it feels. The animations, the speed at which things happen, the sounds. Little known fact that our first version that we ever launched of this software, we had gotten a bunch of sounds from different services where you can download sounds and things like that. And they weren't good enough for me. So I actually spent a whole day creating sounds myself. I got like a table and all sorts of chips and coins and different things that could make chip sounds and a microphone. And I recorded all of the sounds and edited them that we ended up using the first time. Now the software has a professional sound editor who did almost as well as me.
So there you have it. Between Two Phils. I'm sure we'll be showing many more of those in this very show in the future. But Keith, I want to talk about something that you get to experience, I have yet to experience, and that is the new feature in cash games on BetRivers, Splash the Pot.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible. They're adding something from it actually did exist on when BetRivers Poker way back was Run It Once. The splash pots were on Run It Once. I believe they've made some tweaks for the American market. I don't know, the ins and outs of those, but basically it's just added big blinds, added money to the pot relative to whatever stake you're playing in cash games. So cash game players are eating good on BetRivers. They've had leaderboards for a while. The rakeback revolution in general is great. And now they've got these splash pots. So they can be like different tiers. I think there's like a 1 to 3 big blind kind of tier that I've seen a lot. There's like a 25 big blind tier. There's like a 100 big blind tier. And then there's something called the Big Splash, which can have up to 1,000 big blinds added. And that one, there's no gameplay. It's just no more bets. It's just flip them up, and whoever wins 70%.
And have you experienced one of these big ones?
I was farming like crazy, and I finally did get to experience a big splash, as you know, because I sent you the clip.
Which we're going to share right now.
Whoa, 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 whoa. It's a big splash. King 3, come on, baby. No bets, everyone wins. Come on, King 3. I'm dead, but we're still going to win something. Ace 10 wins 70 big blinds. Everybody else gets 30. Let's go. Free 30 big blinds. Sick. Big splash. Dude, that animation. How sick is that animation? That's so cool. Next time we're going to win it. Let's go.
There you have it. Splash the pot. I wish you would have won the big share there, Keith, but it still had to have been fun to be a part of.
No, definitely fun. I was hoping for the I think it was King 3 that I had, but I didn't have much of a chance from the jump. But I'm gonna keep playing cash games to try to farm up a win in the big splash, and just because, like I said, the cash game rewards are great right now.
If you want to know more about Splash the Pot, I will link to the Poker News article in the show notes. You mentioned it, Keith, that the Splash the Pot was part of Run It Once that was sold to Rush Street Interactive and became BetRivers. And this is a good segue because one of the men who was with Galfond in those early days was Jason Senti, who I've known for, many years. He's originally from Minnesota, which is, of course, next door to Wisconsin. And I remember when he finished 7th in the 2010 WSOP, I think it was 1.4 million, right around there. But that's the one that Michael Mizrachi was at. Jonathan Duhamel eventually defeated John Racner. So Jason Senti was there, part of the November 9 experience. I talked to him about that, talked to him about Splash the Pot, about the transition from Run It Once to BetRivers. This is a very in-depth interview with the head of BetRivers Poker right now, and has just so much knowledge because he's been there the entire time. My conversation with Jason Senti. All right, we are with our guest on this episode of the Table Talk BetRivers podcast presented by Poker News, the head of poker at BetRivers, Jason Senti. I know, is it Senti or Senti? I think I like to ask you that every single time we chat.
Yeah, it's Senti. I'm never offended by Senti. It's spelled that way.
Okay, I'm going to try to lock it in because we've known each other a very long time. In fact, poker fans might remember you from final tabling the WSOP main event back in 2010. But what they might not know is that you've been very active behind the scenes with online poker, now with BetRivers, prior to that with Run It Once. And let's just start there. Let's go back to 2010 if you don't mind. That's when the poker world really got its introduction to you. And I believe you were living in Minnesota at the time. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, if you go back even slightly further, I was working as an electrical engineer in Minneapolis back in, I suppose, 2004 or so. And basically for 3 years, I worked as an electrical and software engineer, had moved there with my girlfriend at the time, now wife for a very long time, and caught the poker bug around the same time as everybody else. Maybe about a year later than some of the original people with Moneymaker. I actually got hooked watching the Raymer broadcast. My parents and siblings got hooked the year before on Moneymaker, but I hadn't really watched that. So in any case, yeah, played online poker in the evenings for several years, and I don't know, got obsessed like many of us do, and then ultimately decided to to try and play pro for a little while. I figured it was going to be a short-lived opportunity, maybe a year or two where the games would be that good. And a decade later, I was still playing for a living. So, after a few years of playing online for my primary profession, I did get lucky enough to make the November 9. I'm a luck box for sure, and it was great. I mean, my main game was, well, at that time it would have been PLO cash, but I was always an online cash game player. I wasn't really much of a tournament player, and certainly not much of a live tournament grinder. I just got very lucky. I played no limit home cash for a bunch of years, and then I ended up getting coaching from Phil Galfond. I guess actually what I would say my biggest claim to fame is that I was the first video coach he ever hired for one of his training sites, for Blue Fire Poker back in the day. It was, I auditioned and ended up getting hired for that. So I think that's a much bigger accomplishment.
I just got to mention, I haven't heard Blue Fire Poker in so long. That just brought back so many memories. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, very long time ago. But anyway, so was teaching on Blue Fire and working with Phil, and then in 2010, got very lucky and had a great deep run. And made what was the November 9 at the time. It's a little bit of a shame they don't do that anymore. But back in those days, there was such a production with pausing the main event final table, and they take kind of 4 months where they followed everybody around and created content around it and did this build up, and then had the final table in the Pentatelic Theater at the Rio at the time. Was a big event.
You were there with Michael the Grinder Mizraki, who
I was.
Now the main event champ. He made it again and ended up winning. How cool was that kind of to see from the outside looking in?
Oh, super cool. I mean, he's a legend. I mean, he absolutely cemented it this year. It's just ludicrous, right? I mean, that year in 2010, he won the Players Championship and then final tabled the main. And then, why not run it back a bunch of years later? Good for him. It's great to see. It would have been nice if, I don't know, looking back on it, it's a weird thing because it was I would say that the main event final table, even though, as I kind of said, I wouldn't consider that by any means my greatest poker accomplishment. I was more proud of coming up through the ranks and doing all that at the time, as that was quite challenging. But it was truly, I mean, just a dream come true. It was a very lucky thing, and it was something that was pretty cool too because it validated me to friends and family who didn't really follow poker, right? It made it seem like a real profession and not something I was just kind of doing on the side. But yeah, it was very cool. Although the only difference would be, I guess in my dreams I usually won it, but it was pretty close to that. I remember commuting to my engineering job and listening to all the podcasts and everything I could possibly get my hands on. And at that time there was this World Series of Poker podcast that had the same intro music from the broadcast back in those days. And just even hearing that music would get me excited. So any case, very, very lucky to have that experience.
Fun fact, I wasn't part of it at the time, but the Poker News podcast, which I also host, started at the November 9 of the 2010 WSOP. Episode 1 was filmed there at the Penn and Teller Theater, I believe by Matt Parvis, Donnie Peters, Rich Ryan, and now we're on episode 935, I think it is, or thereabouts. Wow. Yeah, little history lesson that's kind of tied to you in a roundabout way.
Yeah, that's very cool. It was a fun time. It was obviously just before, it was the last main event before Black Friday, so things changed pretty dramatically, 6 months later. It was a very cool time.
Well, let's talk about how you went from Blue Fire Poker, your relationship with Phil Galfond, and then of course he had Run It Once. And I know that BetRivers Poker takes a lot of its influence, if you will, a lot of its principles from Run It Once, a lot of that carryover, and you've been there the entire time. So talk to me a little bit about how you went from Blue Fire Poker to the Run It Once, and I know ultimately to Malta, which is where home base is for you, which I always love, from Minnesota to Malta. Give us that journey a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2015 or so, I had been talking with Phil a little bit about the project that he was just starting to bubble up in the background with Run It Once Poker. As it relates to Blue Fire, I did Blue Fire videos for 3 years. Phil moved on to start Run It Once. I didn't continue on in video poker training. At the time, I didn't see kind of enough upside at that point to continue. I enjoyed it while I did it, but kind of moved on. But he and I were obviously still close. at that time, and he had been talking to me quite a bit about Run It Once Poker, and I met with the CEO at the time, and basically come fast forward to 2016, and Phil effectively recruited me for it. I wasn't really intending to move on from playing poker for a living at the time. I still absolutely loved it. It wasn't like the glory days, especially being I was partially based in the U.S. I was going back and forth between the U.S. and Canada. But I wasn't really looking to do anything else. But Phil's plans and kind of mission with Run It Once were pretty inspiring, and it was a pretty cool opportunity to give that a shot. Frankly, at the time, I thought this was going to be something that was reasonably likely to fail, and maybe over a relatively short period. So we kind of my wife and I viewed it as an adventure in Malta for a little bit, right? We had to, as you mentioned, to move to Malta to help start Run It Once Poker, and follow the mission of valuing all players. We were pretty worried about the direction the industry was going at the time, with a lot of game types and things that were coming out, and really just kind of pushing away pros and better players. Any case, yeah, moved to Malta. I started in poker room management, and over time, I ended up spending most of my time at the company as CEO, until we were acquired by RSI, Rest Read Interactive, and to integrate the poker platform, and frankly rebuilding a good chunk of it as well, into the BetRivers platform to become the third vertical.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like in our first episode of the Table Talk BetRivers podcast, we talked with Phil about a lot of that journey as well, his experience from that, and really the lessons, if you will, that were learned from Run It Once and then incorporated into BetRivers. And I'm curious from your take as well, because one of the things we see with BetRivers now is it's got a lot of trust within the poker community. It puts a player's first perspective on it. You don't always see that with online sites these days, but BetRivers has made that a priority, and I think it stems from the Run It Once days. So I'm just curious about your thoughts on that and the lessons you might have learned that you were able to bring over to BetRivers.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, the real answer is a million lessons. It was, in a lot of ways, it was a trial by fire. We really, probably bit off a little bit more than we could chew in the early days, and took on a lot. But we had an amazing team, and really an amazing experience all around. And a lot of what we did very well, I think, at that time was the transparency from Phil specifically came right from the top, but really carried all the way through to customer support, to our Discord community, to our social media strategy, and then community work. I mean, we also, I think we did a few other things reasonably well in terms of innovating software and things like that, but really the community engagement was probably the area that we really stood out and did something different. And to your point, that is something we definitely brought with us to, BetRivers Poker. Usually when thinking about lessons learned, to think about the things we did poorly, right? And ways we can improve. And I mean, the biggest thing that we learned there, and a lot of that team is still here, is, the building player liquidity is really hard. That's pretty obvious. We knew it going in. It's not like we didn't know it, but we really internalized it, how challenging that is. And for anybody who doesn't think critically about, the poker experience as much, somebody's not on the industry side, it maybe isn't as obvious, but liquidity really is everything. It's massively important, has such a huge impact on the player experience. If people, as much as we innovated, made really cool software, if people show up to your games and they don't have the tables, the games they want to play at, the stakes they want to play at the time they want to play, the product's no good, right? And we did have success building a fair bit of liquidity, but we didn't get all the way. And I think the most obvious things that we were missing, and it's not like we didn't know it at the time, but maybe we didn't recognize how critical it was MTTs and mobile. So considering the size that we got with just a desktop platform and no MTTs, that's pretty good. But yeah, that was a huge lesson, that it was, more or less impossible to do without those things. But certainly on the things that went well, we had some innovative features, community building. The Galfond Challenge also was a very cool thing. And we got to build, again, an amazing team, most of which are still here today.
Right. Well, I know one thing BetRivers does really well now is these promotions and online tournament series that are offered. So let's start there. I know one that Poker News recently wrote about. I'll link to it in the show notes as well. Is the Splash the Pot. So I'm curious where this idea came from, and what it kind of brings to the table, if you will, for players on BetRivers Poker.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first, for anybody who doesn't know, Splash the Pot, it's a feature we just released on BetRivers Poker that we had it run at once. It is a rewards program where at the start of randomly selected cash game hands, money can fall from the sky and land it in the middle of the table for players to fight over. Basically, this kind of free money, or I shouldn't say free money, that's the wrong term, reward money, and kind of rake back is added to the pot, and whoever wins the pot wins that. And it can be small amounts, small splashes, like one big blind, and it can be huge splashes, up to 1,000 big blinds. And still, whoever wins the pot wins that additional money. When it comes to the really big splashes, these jackpot splashes, we have a different mechanic where you don't need to actually wager to win those. Those are a little bit kind of similar to the way bad beat jackpots work, except that we do deal out of hand and without kind of this wagering, but there's a 70-30 split amongst the table between the winner instead of the loser. So it would be in a bad beat jackpot and the rest of the table. But in any case, Splash the Pot, super fun, very highly visual feature that the players at Run It Once liked a lot, and really just changes the game dynamics a lot. Where the idea came from, I'm pretty sure originally it came from Phil's business partner and co-founder of Run It Once Poker and Run It Once, Dan Quinn. I say I'm pretty sure because they actually had the idea just before I got there. I was, I really led the efforts to come up with kind of all of our policies and help design all these things. In fact, help design the underlying mechanics along with somebody else who's still at BetRivers Poker now. But the idea, I'm pretty sure, came from Dan Quinn, and it's a super cool one. It was one that we always knew we wanted to have again at BetRivers, but it's a matter of priorities, right? It took a little while before we brought it back. We wanted to make sure we expanded into, most of the states where poker's available before doing so. And now we're ready to launch it. We launched it, well, I don't know when this will air, but for the way it is now, we launched it a week ago, and it's off to a great start.
Yeah, I know my co-host Keith Becker is going to capture some video of it, so we'll show that later on in this episode. But definitely check out the Splash the Pot promotion. I'll link to it in the show notes. And yeah, very exciting. I think it's very cool. I also think something cool that is coming up is the BetRivers Spring Championship, which is going to run February 22nd through March 8th. 15 days, 44 unique events, each with 2 buy-in tiers, over $500,000 in guaranteed prize pools, $5 to $500 buy-in range. It just sounds like the good old-fashioned, good value online tournament series, which, as you mentioned, you used to grind online quite a bit and more cash than MTTs. But even still, like, this just, I don't know, as somebody who doesn't get to play online right now because I'm in Wisconsin, but like it reminds me of those online series that I would just set aside my 2 weeks and going to grind hard. I'm imagining you and the rest of the team are pretty excited about this upcoming BetRivers Spring Championship.
Absolutely. And it is, to your point, it's a throwback to the old days in a lot of ways with this kind of thing. And yes, while I was primarily a cash game player, I set aside my couple weeks for Scoop or various F-Tops and, all the different series of various times as well, back then, as well as grind some of these today. As well, the ones that I can hear, but not in the U.S. regulated market, obviously. So, any case, yeah, it's exciting with this to be able to run another series. I suppose this is, I'm making sure I'm doing the counting right. This would be our 4th series that we run, and they're just getting bigger and more exciting. And something that we have or that we have been doing and will do again with this is have physical trophies as well, which in some ways is a little bit of a throwback. We admittedly have a little bit of an advantage operating just in the US in that, we don't have to ship globally to do that, but they're very well received by the community so far. And we have amazing designers at BetRivers and they've designed our trophies for us as well. So we'll have trophies for every event for that series.
Yeah, Keith Becker, my co-host, has one. We showed it off on last episode. They look amazing.
Yes.
I think that kind of stuff is super important, right? Like, even to this day, there are online tournament series that haven't been around for decades, but people still talk about the trophies or talk about the other perks. Like, look, Full Tilt's not around anymore, but we remember those F-Tops jerseys that people had,
For
or
sure.
the I knocked out a pro on Full Tilt Poker. I know that BetRivers has done similar with I've knocked out Phil Galfond or Phil Hellmuth, which that kind of stuff I think is awesome, for the community, for players, especially recreational players.
Yeah, 100%. That's stuff's super fun. And we have, on our team, we have people who are always thinking about these types of things. We have some pretty clever ones coming up in the future as well, because they are players, right? And we all know what that's like, and it's enjoyable. And yeah, we absolutely, for lack of a better term, I mean, we borrowed from Full Tilt when it comes to the shirts for knocking out one of the VIPs, one of our very important fills. But yeah, that's something that, I mean, anybody who played poker for a long period of time back in those days probably has one of those shirts, or at least knows people who have one of those shirts, in their closet somewhere. And it was something that really stuck with us as well. And we want to, we're doing everything we can to kind of bring back a lot of those vibes and those good feels.
The BetRivers Spring Championship again, February 22nd through March 8th. I'll have a link to the show notes with the full schedule. 44 unique events, includes a $500 buy-in, $25K high roller on Sunday, March 1st. There's also, remember, it's 2 tiers, so there's a $50 buy-in high roller, $5K guarantee, and then, of course, the main event of the series, $200 buy-in, $40K guarantee on Sunday, March 8th. There's also a $20 buy-in version with a $6K guarantee. So check out the full schedule. We'll have a whole article on Poker News. We'll be doing recaps, compiling results, and in a future episode going all over all the big stories from the BetRivers Spring Championship. So, Jason, before we wrap things up, I do want to talk a little bit more. You mentioned, you guys operate just in the U.S. Poker landscape, which is an advantage, but also has its limitations, right? There's only certain markets that are there. But one thing that BetRivers has done is, especially compared to the competition, is was able to expand so quickly to all the regulated markets. And I know in 2026, fingers crossed that there are some big things coming up. I know Maine recently legalized it. I know that there's some movement in Canada between Alberta, maybe joining the Ontario market, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just curious your thoughts on the current landscape in, we'll say, North America, include Canada in that, and then what BetRivers might be thinking in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, frankly, it's a pretty exciting time in the U.S. Regulated poker landscape, and really just U.S. poker. If you take a look at the options that people have in the U.S., they're doing well. People want to play poker, and poker is expanding. We are a little bit limited with the regulated market, to your point, that it's only available in so many states. That's something that over time, I certainly expect to improve. To your point, Maine just passed. Wasn't something that people were really expecting to have happen, right? And I think we're going to continue to see this expansion. You also mentioned Canada. We don't know exactly where that's going to go, but we do have hopes that there will eventually be, international liquidity sharing, and hopefully with the U.S. states joining the MSIGA. Again, it's hard to know exactly where that'll go. That all of this takes some time, but we do see expansion on the horizon, and there'll be more states and more markets available. And again, ultimately, as long as we can get more players playing together, we can improve the product and do so in a regulated and safe environment, right? Where the players can trust that the operators have had their platforms tested, that there is, reasonable oversight, that there is a regulator to reach out to if you think there is, something you have a problem with. Any of us who've been in the poker industry for a long time know what can happen with some of the less regulated sites at times. And so it's really, really encouraging to see the regulated environment expand a bit in the U.S. It's something I've been personally, cheering for a very long time. Well before I worked on the industry side, it was something I put a lot of time into with the PPA as a throwback back in the day, hoping to have this, proper regulated poker environment. And we are getting there, and we're seeing that expansion. On the BetRivers front, we've been very, very fortunate for BetRivers Poker to have the internal support we have and the kind of structural advantages we have with a newer modern poker platform, and that we are able to expand pretty rapidly, iterate on the product rapidly, but that also means join other states and markets quickly. As you alluded to earlier, we went from operating basically went from 0 to 4 states in 8 months. Started with one, waited a little bit, and then had, the big kind of multi-state launch all on one day, which was something that, again, we had to, if we didn't have the the internal buy-in as well as the kind of benefits of working with the regulators. They really are our partners in all of this, and they all have to come together in a way to make interstate poker work the way it does. And it was great working with them to be able to do that. But we've now been able to demonstrate that we're able to do that, and we have hopes to be able to expand more. We all have our eyes set on New Jersey soon, and hopefully being the first operator to have this 6-state network. But we'll see. It'll take a little while before we're actually in there, but we're moving as quickly as we can.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I know, fingers crossed for New Jersey in 2026. Speaking of this year, what is something that you are most excited about right now on BetRivers? I mean, we had talked about Splash the Pot. We talked about the Spring Championship that's coming up. But what else are you personally most excited about right now?
Yeah, I mean, one is expansion. To have been able to do what we've already been able to do, and ultimately be in more states than anybody else will be huge. More markets means more players, bigger community, bigger prize pool, etc. I'm also very excited to grow our community and ultimately, hopefully, the influence on the market. We really do believe in poker as kind of as a fun, engaging product, and as a business as well, and something that complements the other verticals. And so we're thrilled that there has been this opportunity in the U.S. Regulated market for us to, provide this fun, fair, rewarding experience, and to be building an environment where being truly player first, poker authentic, and community driven seems to be a genuine competitive advantage, and one that, it is a lane that we were able to turn into and really get buy-in from the community, and not have as much competition there as one maybe would like. I mean, it's a little bit sad for the industry, but certainly positive for us. So continuing to develop that, continuing to innovate, and I guess be able to connect more with the community about figuring out a little bit about what's next, and as well as, I guess, on a personal note, get to work with our phenomenal team of passionate poker enthusiasts who really do care about providing that player first experience, and look for more opportunities to do things that really cement that home and just drive good experiences for our players.
Yeah, I know one thing, finding new opportunities and that experience for players, big part of that is feedback. And I think that's one of the things I like best about BetRivers is very open to feedback, and also make it very easy for players to give that feedback. I know that they're very active on social media. There's a Discord channel, and I believe a portal where people can submit. And I'm assuming as head of poker, you're very interested in that. But what would you say to those who might have feedback for BetRivers, how they could go about giving that, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. One, absolutely, the Discord community that we have within the U.S. Poker community Discord. We have our own Discord channel. I'll come back to that. We have that Discord. We also have, as you said, we have a page on the BetRivers Poker website where you can vote on individual features. You can submit your own. You can vote up various features. We check that all the time. The thing that I want to say is, I want players to know that we genuinely are listening. Like we really, really are. Tell us what you love, what you hate, what you want next. And we will absolutely build on that. Reference the Discord channel, the amount of people internally at BetRivers who read every message in that Discord would probably surprise a lot of people, including people on the tech team, on the ops team, on the marketing team. We're, on the customer support team, we're all keeping an eye on this. So we really do believe that, what we can hear from the community and whatever they can provide us is the best thing that we can listen to, and is hugely advantageous for us to get that information. So please, get in the Discord, get on social media, on Twitter, follow BetRivers Poker, or just go to the webpage and vote there on individual features. Whatever it is you have, please reach out. We want to hear it, and hopefully we will build what you're looking for.
Awesome. Jason Senti, I got it right that time. Head of poker at BetRivers. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us here at Table Talk. And we'll probably have you on in the future, I would imagine, as BetRivers continues to grow, expand, and that there are more things to talk about, which I'm sure there will be. But I really appreciate you taking the time all the way from Malta to chat with us today.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much, Chad. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure talking.
A big thank you to Jason for taking the time to chat with us here on the BetRivers Table Talk show. Keith, let's wrap this episode up with talk of the upcoming BetRivers Spring Championship Series, the next major online series on BetRivers, 15-day festival running from February 22nd through March 8th. I know you said earlier that you'll probably have to miss a little bit of that series, but you're going to be trying to win another trophy.
Oh, when I'm home, I will be grinding away. Absolutely. I'm very excited for the spring championship.
$500K in guaranteed prize pools across 44 unique events, 2 buy-in tiers for each. So it's really good for recreational players and serious players. Buy-ins from $5 all the way up to $500. Of course, there's satellite opportunities. There are marquee events each week. This is like I told you before, BetRivers is in Michigan. That's not too far away from the Wisconsin border. I might have to try to get up there because this is one of those online series that's very tempting for me to try to play.
Dude, you should come. I'd love to see you. I'd love to see you. Well, I wouldn't see you because the people are anonymous unless you even let me know who you are at the table. But maybe at the end of the tournament, when the lobby reveals the names, I'll see a little Chad Holloway username in there.
Is that how it works?
I'm very excited for this series.
Well, I didn't even know that, Keith. Is that how it works? It's all anonymous names?
Yeah, so it's very interesting from my perspective, actually, because as a sponsored streamer, myself and Dr. Dad Poker are some of the only de-anonymized players. So everybody knows who I am, and I don't know who they are. Players are given random avatars and randomly generated names. It's sort of part of BetRivers' protection vision for recreationals to sort of have a leveled playing field and things like that. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it despite the asymmetry, which is definitely not in my favor at times. But the series, I'm very excited for the Spring Championship. I think the thing I'm maybe most excited for is the fact that I've been told that all the events are trophy events. So high and low, all the events give out trophies, and they're also giving them to the high and low players of the series. So it should be a lot of hardware changing hands, and hopefully some of it coming into mine.
Well, the series runs, as I said, February 22nd through March 8th, which means there are 3 major Sundays. Of course, Sunday is the online poker day of the week, if you will, where all the majors take place. There's no more football anymore to compete with it, if you will. So It's going to start on February 22nd with a $100 buy-in, $17,500 guarantee series starter event. And then there is a $10 buy-in, $3K guarantee. We said the high-low tier. The following week on March 1st, Sunday, they're going to have the super high roller, $500 buy-in, $25K guarantee, and then a $50 5K guaranteed version. And then the granddaddy, if you will, on March 8th, Sunday, the main event, $200 buy-in, $40K guarantee, and then there is a $20 buy-in, $6K guaranteed version. Those are kind of like the marquee must-play events, though you should play them all.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget that going on right now also there is the Road to the Spring Championship, which goes from February 8th, which was yesterday as of this recording, until the 21st. And so if you play real money MTTs on BetRivers, you earn entries into drawings for satellite tickets, and then you get satellite tickets that feed into the BetRivers Spring Championship. So getting started early is a good thing, and you can get in on a discount.
Yeah, I love it. And they're also, of course, during the series going to do different promotions. They're going to have series leaderboards, early bird daily ticket drops, exclusive trophies for all the winners. Like you said, there'll be 88 of them because there's 44 events, and there is the high and low. So 88 opportunities, if you will, to get some hardware. And
I think actually 90 because there's one for the series leaderboard as well. Although presumably the leaderboard winners will also have won an event or two, usually at least.
Good point. We will definitely be recapping the Spring Championship when it's all said and done. We'll have to, if there's some repeat winners or some people who win some titles or something, Keith, I don't know. We gotta make sure we cover this thing in depth. I know you're going to be playing it. You're going to be streaming it. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've already had some people who are crushers in the BetRivers streets say that if they do well in a series, they'd be willing to come on and join us and talk about their habits and their strategy and how they enjoy playing on BetRivers as well. So we keep that in mind for future guest spots.
Absolutely. If you want to know more about the Spring Championship Series on BetRivers, I will link to it in the show notes. Poker News has an article that explains the dates, some of the promotions around it, and everything you can expect. If you aren't signed up for BetRivers Poker, you can also do that through Poker News. We have a review that you can also read up on it. So, but just take it from me, take it from Keith especially. BetRivers is where you want to be playing.
Yeah, I love it. I love playing on BetRivers. They move so rapidly with these promotions. Like you heard Chad talking just now. He barely had enough time to get out all the promos that are coming for BetRivers Spring Championship in one sentence. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And I'm excited, as mentioned by Jason in our interview, they are eyeing up a New Jersey debut sometime in 2026. Maybe sooner, maybe later, who knows? But I know like that is, when it comes to BetRiver news, something that we're keeping our fingers on the pulse of. And I know, Keith, you would be very excited about that.
It's one of the most asked about things in my stream. One of the things I'm always excited about is bringing new liquidity, new players, larger fields, larger prize pools. Allows them to do bigger and better and cooler promotions. And they've been doing such a good job with a smaller player pool so far. So, yeah, I'm hoping for New Jersey as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Bring them on. Bring them on.
I'm pretty sure, too, if for whatever reason it doesn't line up with our normal publishing schedule of the podcast, we would probably do a special episode to announce the launch of BetRivers in New Jersey. So fingers crossed. But Keith, that's going to do it for the second episode of the BetRivers Poker Table Talk presented by Poker News. Thanks again to Jason Senti, the head of poker, for taking the time to chat with us and being our second guest on the show. We will be back in March with a new episode, which will recap the BetRivers Spring Championship Series. And Keith, I'll say to you, my friend, good luck. Go get another trophy.
Thank you, Chad. And yes, thanks to Jason for giving us a little bit of insight into the BetRivers vision from the operations side. It's not often that we get to hear that from that side of things. And yeah, I hope I run good. I'll definitely be putting in the reps and putting in the volume in the spring championship.
I am Chad Holloway. Keith Becker, do us a favor, like, subscribe, give us the 5-star review. We will be back next month with a brand new episode of the BetRivers Poker Table Talk presented by Poker News. See you then.